What About Mirabel by GryffindorGyrl1997. Chapter 14. If apologizing to Ulietta and her family had been difficult, apologizing to Peppa and her children was downright excruciating. It had been almost a full day since Mirabel had woken up, and Alma was making her way through her grandchildren and Peppa. Everyone except for Bruno, Augustine and Ulietta were there, having been given specific instructions to rest. Peppa was charged with overseeing it and ensuring that the children didn't try to slip off to see Mirabel, where Ulietta and Bruno would just turn them away regardless. She started with Camillo, who looked at her aghast as she started her apology. "I'm not the one you should be apologizing to," Camillo told her. "Mirabel, Tio Bruno, Luisa. But not me. You've treated them far worse than anyone else in the family." "I have apologized to them," Alma admitted. "And?" "We are working on it," she promised him. "Well, come back once you fixed it," Camillo stated before leaving her standing there alone. She took a deep breath. She knew that not everyone would forgive her. She had known that before she started this. But she hadn't anticipated Camillo's complete dismissal. She wasn't done there. Peppa hugged her when she apologized, but told her that she was going to have to prove that she was changing with her actions, not just her words. This helped harden Alma's resolve. She was going to really have to work hard to prove that she was trying to change her family. "You will always be my mama," she said, "but you were wrong with how you've treated my children, and my sobrinas." "I know. I realize that now." "So that means no more arguing about giving them breaks and allowing them time with each other." "I know." Alma really wasn't sure why she had had a problem with that in the first place. "Good. Then prove it." Antonio was quick to forgive. At 5, he had only briefly had his gift. He hadn't been subjected to as much as the older children. He was 5 and so easygoing that this wasn't even a surprise to Alma, who realized now that with her whole family so angry at her. And then there was Dolores. She didn't look up as Alma approached, but she spoke anyway. "I don't want to talk to you," she said quietly. "I am here to apologize." Alma responded gently. "I don't care," Dolores said flatly. "I don't want an apology from you. I don't want to talk to you. Dolores, I know I have made mistakes." "No, you don't." "Yes, I do. "No, you don't!" Dolores whirled around to face her abuela, her words louder than anyone had ever heard from her. "You don't know. You don't know the damage you've caused, especially to Mirabel. I don't want an apology from you." "I've apologized to Mirabel." "An apology doesn't change the fact that if I hadn't stepped in, Mirabel would have left, just like Tio Bruno." There were gasps from around the room, and Dolores closed her eyes. She hadn't realized how much attention they had attracted from the family. "Mirabel was going to leave?" Isabella asked, tears filling her eyes. "Why didn't you say anything sooner?" Louisa looked terrified. I handled it," Dolores murmured. "She didn't want anyone to know she had been thinking about it." Dolores opened her eyes to find the whole family had crowded around her. Mirabel was going to hate her. She specifically didn't want the family to know. She had blurted it out in her anger in front of everyone. "I'm sorry. I didn't mean to say that. Mirabel is fine now," she insisted. She refused to answer any more questions, and she wouldn't even look at Abuela. Dolores approached Peppa. "Mama, I know what you said, but can I go and speak with Mirabel?" "Dolores." "Mama, I know she's going to hear what I said accidentally blurted out in front of the whole family, and I would prefer to be the one to tell her." Peppa's eyes softened as she looked at her mija. "Si," Peppa said. "Come." "You're going with me?" she asked incredulously. "Mama, I can walk across the street by myself." "Ulietta is under strict instructions not to let anyone in," Peppa reminded her. "You won't get in the door, let alone speak to Mirabel privately." Once outside, Peppa stopped Dolores and faced her. "Mirabel was really thinking about leaving?" "Mirabel practically had her bags packed," Dolores whispered. Peppa closed her eyes briefly. "I am sorry you were carrying all of that alone, mija." "I wasn't completely alone," Dolores offered. "Tio Bruno knew. We told him." And he encouraged Mirabel to stay. He did, Dolores nodded. Peppa touched her face, then put her arm around her daughter's shoulders, leading her inside. Mirabel would likely be able to come and join them at the church the next day, having been recovering miraculously since she had awoken. Peppa? Julieta said, looking confused. What? She trailed off, seeing Dolores and Peppa. Can Dolores speak to Mirabel for a moment, Hermana? Peppa asked. Julieta and Peppa seemed to be having a conversation with just their eyes. Well, they all watched. Augustine was confused, just watching the sisters, while Bruno seemed to be at least somewhat following. Julieta finally nodded, and the adults filed out of the room, leaving Dolores and Mirabel alone. Dolores, what's wrong? Asked Mirabel, her voice anxious. I'm sorry, Dolores blurted out, then squeaked, her eyes filling with tears. Mirabel sat up fast. What for? Dolores, don't cry, she begged. Alma was apologizing. She made me so mad, saying that she knew how she had affected everyone, and I just got so mad and I blurted out that she didn't know because her actions almost made you run away, and everyone heard it, and I'm so sorry, because I shouldn't have said that, and... Dolores broke herself off with a sob. Oh, prima, Mirabel murmured, holding out her hand for her cousin and pulling her into a hug. Don't cry, please. I'm not angry. You should be. I'm not, Mirabel shrugged. They were bound to find out eventually. Am I thrilled that the whole family knows? No. But at least I don't have to tell them. I'm so sorry, Mira. Dolores, I know that. Mirabel smiled softly at her. Please stop crying. I'm not angry. How could I be angry with you? All you've done is protect me. I know you didn't mean to. And I know you don't do it out of anger towards me. And it makes me feel good that you were defending me. You're really not angry? Dolores wiped the tears off her cheeks, incredulous. I'm not angry, Mirabel confirmed. Dolores couldn't believe it. Mirabel had to be literally the kindest person she had ever met. Plus, I love my mama and papa and Tio Bruno, but I was getting pretty bored. Mirabel said conspiratorially with a wink and a grin. Maybe we can convince them to let you stay with me tonight. Dolores grinned. We can try, she smirked back. A few minutes later, the adults filed back into the room, but there was no budging. All of them agreed that Dolores needed to go back to the church and sleep. The two pouted and pleaded, but didn't get anywhere. The adults were adamant that the only one staying with Mirabel tonight was Julieta, because Mirabel needed rest if she was going to be released the next day. Begrudgingly, Dolores gave in, knowing that they were just looking out for Mirabel. She squeezed Mirabel's hand, standing up. Just remember, tomorrow, you're out of here. Mirabel beamed at her. I know. I can't wait. Dolores hesitated. We're okay? We're great, Mirabel insisted, giving her a pointed look. Now, you have to go get some sleep too. All right, Mira. Dolores consented, and Dolores allowed her mother to steer her out of the door. Feel better, mija? Feel better, mija? Peppa asked her gently. Yes, Mama. Thank you. Did Mirabel forgive you? She asked, her voice teasing. Of course she did. Dolores rolled her eyes. She's too forgiving sometimes. But since that forgiveness was just aimed at me, I probably shouldn't complain. Peppa laughed lightly. You're right. You probably shouldn't. At the church, most of the others were asleep, and Dolores slipped over to her own bed. She had hoped to actually sleep, but she was so excited for Mirabel to be able to join them that she lay there for a while, tossing and turning, alone with her thoughts. She was startled when Antonio appeared before her and crawled into bed with her. Tonio? What's wrong? Bad dream, he mumbled, snuggling into Dolores. Mirabel always lets me snuggle with her when I have a bad dream, but I can't go to her. Antonio looked up at her with wide eyes. Can I sleep here? Of course, her niñito. Dolores tugged him closer, and after that, it didn't take long for either one to fall asleep. End of chapter. Hi guys, hope you enjoyed that because oh my god, that was a blowout. I honestly struggled with trying to make Dolores loud. I've tried to make her voice soft and light because of her hearing. She is used to being quiet, even if she doesn't have her hearing right now. And that explosion and her apologising and everyone else's reactions to Mirabel considering leaving, my lord, I mean, they realised just how close the fuse was to the powder keg, didn't they? Wow. And talk of an explosion as well. Yeesh. But I'm glad it's all cleared up now. That was quite fun, actually, to do all those different emotions and voices. It's hard on my throat, but it's actually really fun. Anyway, I hope you guys have a good day, night, or whatever time zone you're in. Remember to check out my other videos, and like, comment, and subscribe, and hit that bell to get notified for whenever I upload a new video. Have a good day, night, or whatever time zone you're in. Bye, my guys, gals, and non-binary pals. I'll see you in another video. Bye!